Perspective and identity. The English language has many words in its dictionary. Perspective is the point of view or a particular attitude or way of regarding something. This video will be drawing from my point of view. I will take you on a walk in my shoes so you can comprehend where I'm coming from and where I want to go. Identity. The fact of being who or what a person or thing is. I would love to remove identity from politics. It has little to no place in our modern capitalist society, where a person should be judged on their actions alone and not that of their identity or identities. Everyone can identify with many groups. I identified heavily with the 49ers before the Colin Kaepernick controversy, which is a topic for another day. I believe in the individual. That would be me here. That's why I prefer perspective to identity. Perspective gives power back to the individual. But to throw identitarians a bone, here's a list of things I have or do identify with. I am a Chicano, Mexican American. Both my parents were born and raised in Mexico, and they raised me here in the States. I grew up speaking English and Spanish, but at school I still pledged allegiance to the flag. I identify with both because they affected the way I grew up. I also wrestled in high school. I had fun. It gave me my determination, my motivation. It showed me how strong I can really be. And like I said before, I was a 49er fan. Well, I still am, but we're not doing too hot. So that's how that song goes. But the list of identities that I can have can go on and on. One of the reasons why I don't like identity politics is its simplicity. In the complex world we live in, we need complex solutions. Unlike this simplistic frame I have for my video, because I do not have many resources to make this so pretty. We can't just blame an entire group of people for the sins of their ancestors. There are good and bad decisions we all make. In the past, there may have been a lot more suffering, but today, alongside our complex problems, we've also added comfortability. So my example here is obviously the car with Bluetooth connectivity, air conditioning, versus someone riding on horseback with the only music they have is what they can whistle or sing along to. In the Western world, we've removed a lot of suffering that our ancestors went through, and we've been making it better. Focusing on identity instead of the individual perspective will take us backwards. I believe our first big step backwards was the ideology that led to Black Lives Matter. Police brutality is in fact a problem in the US. But cops are not disproportionately killing black people. It's just that black people disproportionately commit more crimes. Now, that is not entirely their fault. It could be the environment they grew up in. I understand that myself as a youngster grew up in the east side of San Jose, which is not the safest part of the city I live in. But my parents took their individual choice to move us out of the east side to the south side of San Jose, where I grew up in a nicer neighborhood, and I was able to avoid that lifestyle. But I can tell you that culture can affect your thinking. My sisters, unfortunately, had to spend their developing years in that same neighborhood, and they were influenced by those people, and that's why my parents were very adamant about getting us out. Luckily, I was able to avoid joining the Sureño clique that was in the neighborhood, like my sisters did. Victimized social justice warriors want to tell you that racist cops and racist Trump are the driving force pushing our country back. But in actuality, identity politics are pushing people back to their racial tribes. Black Lives Matter and other groups are the running with the oppressor oppressed narratives, are in fact the division in our nation. But before you all call me a far-right neo-Nazi, I'll play the devil's advocate. We do need the left. We need people who care about injustices and want to help underprivileged people. But the way they've been going about helping people does the opposite of help. Telling people they're victims of a racist, patriarchal, capitalist society is simply wrong. Capitalism does not see race. Capitalism only sees money. Green. We live in the most free, most stable, most peaceful time, most accepting time in human history. We can continue to remove suffering from our country and the world around us, but that doesn't happen if we condemn those who think differently from ourselves. We do that by having discussions, compromising the good, and removing the bad from our melting pot country. Now, I understand this video is going to be done terribly, but this is all I have for now, and this is probably what's going to be coming for a while. Yeah.